What's up, guys? Metallic Rock here. Today is Tuesday, and while we're waiting for the start of Week 3, Season 4, I thought we would take a look over at this blue post on Wowhead and check out some of the Mythic Plus changes going into the week. Looks like they're changing a lot of things in Lower Karazhan, Iron Docks, Upper Karazhan, and more, so that's all great. Lower Karazhan changes will probably be welcome, and Iron Docks changes too. A lot of really nasty trash and Iron Docks, which it seems they're addressing immediately right out of the gate here. Nerfs to Maiden of Virtue, Beautiful Beast, which won't affect us going into this week, as we'll have the Wicked Opera, Atumen, and Trash in Lower Karazhan. All that looks good. Shade of Medivh, Mana Devour, Vizdoom, and Trash in Upper. I didn't find Upper to be too bad, to be honest. We were able to 2+ a 15 or a 16, I don't remember which, and that was, it wasn't too bad, as long as you skip some of the trash. So let's see. So this is a hotfix yesterday. Nightmare Clouds to spawn more quickly, and Shadow Flame damage reduced by 150%, travel speed reduced by 100, and radius reduced to 4 yards with 6 yards. So that's a 1/3 nerf, which is pretty good in the distance there. And then all of these are going to be with realm restarts, I think. So the thing that we're waiting on for this 8-hour maintenance. So Grimrail Technician's 5,000 volts cast time increased to 3.5 seconds, was 2.5. It's an additional second there. You'll have to interrupt that, which is great. Charging Slash is an Iron Docks, now only cast by Gromkar foot soldiers. I'm not sure what Charging Slash was. I think it was the bleed where they would charge the furthest player away from them. If this was the bleed, this was really destroying our healer last week on Fortified, and we play with an all melee comp a lot of the times, so he was always the furthest in the back, just stacking up those bleeds in the beginning of Iron Docks. The Labor's Thundering Stomp damage reduced by 25%. That's great. Thunderlord's Wrangler's throw damage is now reduced by armor. This is awesome because I did some Iron Dot keys last night, actually, and when I had looked at my damage taken on details, Thunderlord Wranglers had done the most damage to me in the whole dungeon. And you only fight, like, a couple of them at the end. I guess, to be fair, like, you don't fight a lot of any type of mob in general, but, like, they were like 30 or 35% of the total damage I took in the dungeon. It's crazy. Rampage and Clef's Hoof's health reduced by 15%. That's awesome. These things are annoying. Resolved an issue where the enemies would fail to cast abilities in specific locations. Okay, just a couple bug fixes. All right, Karazhan lower. Arcane Warden's volatile charge damage reduced by 40%. This is cool. This is trash that I think we only played once. I think it's the trash like in the room next to Moreau's. We went once last week for a route for this, and it was kind of messy, but I'm sure this damage reduced by 40% will be welcome. Skeletal Usher's flashlight damage reduced by 20%. That's awesome, and their health reduced by 25%. Both of these very good. The Usher's flashlight hurt really bad last week, even when like DPS would turn around and follow the mechanic properly. It was still just trucking them. Spectral Patron's uppercut damage reduced by 20%. That's very welcome, I'm sure. Phantom Crew's Hammer Down now has a 1.5 second cast time, was instant, and increases damage taken by 25% instead of 50, so that's half. And you now will see it coming out quickly. You can stun it as opposed to it being instant. Resolved an issue that caused BDK's Dancing Rune Weapon to strike unintended target with blood boil through floors. This was possibly happening to us last night. I was playing my Blood Death Knight for a couple of keys right before we got off, and on the Opera, I kept pulling the singers and the people under the stage, and I couldn't figure out if it was because of the mecha cycle, but now that I read this, it may be this. Yesterday was the first day I was playing my Blood DK all season. With Restart, Coggleston's Dent Armor now has a cast time, which is cool. You can get ready. And the Bloody Jab damage from the Forks reduced by 20%. Very cool. This won't affect us on NA this week, but welcome changes. Maiden of Virtue, Holy Bulwark absorbed, reduced by 10%. Last week, the Bulwark didn't feel too high in the keys that we were doing. But going into this week with Tyrannical, I'm sure that 10% reduction will be Probably, maybe not noticeable, right? It may feel more like it did last week as opposed to being like overwhelmingly difficult of a DPS check going into Tyrannical. And intangible presence damage reduced by 50%. This is cool because if you're playing like a pug and maybe the healer can't tell or not everybody has the weak aura to shout out who it is, the damage hurts. Like this hurt really bad if you didn't dispel it quickly. Now we go to upper. This is very cool. Very cool. The Wrathguard Flamebringer's cleave and strike damage reduced by 20%. That's okay. Great. Yeah. 20% reduction. Wrathguard Flamebringer will no longer cast Slide. This is insanely good. Maybe you fight this now. Maybe you still skip it because, like, the skip was fine, honestly. Just invis-potting past it or shrouding past it, whatever you wanted to do. But the Slide was the ability where it would drop aggro and just essentially one-shot a DPS. Like, there was nothing you could really do about it. You could try to mash taunt as soon as you noticed they dropped aggro, but it was very difficult. It no longer casting this makes this trash, like, considerable if you can get a better skip later on in the dungeon. And Shade of Medivh, Guardian Image's Shimmer damage reduced by 25%. That's going to be very welcome this week in Tyrannical. Shimmer was super painful the first week with Tyrannical, and it was manageable last week with Fortified. And Mana Devour, energy discharge damage reduced by 30%. So a nice 30% reduction on energy discharge. I guess that allows for maybe a bit more mistakes with the orbs. And a Taza Vesh change with Realm Restart. Invigorating Fish Stick cast time increased to 2 seconds. So an extra half second added to Fish Stick cast time. That just gives you a second or a half a second more to get a stun out to get that Fish Sticks interrupted so they can't get that, not interrupted, stunned so they can't get that cast off. So right now, just currently waiting probably 2 more hours until servers are back up so that I can open my vaults. So I guess we'll cut to when servers are back up and I'll open my vaults. Alright guys, WoW's live now. It's actually up way earlier than expected. I guess we got lucky. It's only 4:17 for me, so it's like almost 2 hours earlier. It's only been like 17 minutes since I recorded the first part. So I think I only have these 3 vaults to open. So we're gonna start with the lower vaults first, and then I only did a 15 on my monk last week. So we'll start with these lower vaults and then move up. For my Demon Hunter, I don't really have any preferences for what I get, to be honest. I was just kind of playing him to try out Demon Hunter. I played him for maybe 6 hours last week. I just got 4-piece tier and then ran like a 12 key on him, or like pushed my key to a 12 key and then stopped. All right, let's see what we get here on the Demon Hunter. A little laggy, taking a second. So we got boots. Haste Mastery boots. We already have good enough boots with the Fated Heroic boots that are already Haste Mastery. Although this is more haste. But we probably have enough. Okay, Crit Haste. That's a good looking ring at a huge eye level upgrade. And oh man, though. This is so much haste. I think we're gonna take the weapon. A 226 weapon is just too low to justify. But I'm not too worried about what this guy gets. Let's see what keystone we got as well. Return to upper 10. Okay, that's cool. Alright, now let's go on to the DK. Alright, let's see what the DK gets. I do care a little bit more about what the DK gets compared to the Demon Hunter. So it looks like we have the option for a 298 back with Haste Mastery. That's not terrible. I do have a back already that I could upgrade with crit haste. A chess piece, but I actually think I have a chess piece in my bags. Yeah, that I got from my box. So we probably won't take the chess piece. So hopefully we need these boots. Yeah, haste mastery boots. Why not? Cool. Don't forget to grab this quest when you open your vaults. It is time walking week. You can get a piece of normal gear. What did I take? Boots? Yeah, these boots. Cool deal. All right, now let's go try the monk. This is the one we really care about. All right, so this is the one I really care about. We'll just snag this. Nope. We'll just snag this quest. 278. Probably not much of an upgrade on this guy, but we'll take it anyway. All right, we're hoping for like Drape of Shame. We did do a little bit of Sanctum. They finished it. I did a little bit of Sanctum on normal. Okay. Ooey Gooey Galoshes, Crit Verse. Those are my best boots, so we don't care about these boots. Crit Verse Belt. But my belt is my Unity. But I should get Exalted this week. And I can move my Unity to, like, my wrists or... Yeah, probably my wrists. Or this fist. Crit haste. Realistically, I do have 2 weapons already as well on this guy. Actually, I already have one of these. Take the other one. I think I'm going to take this. This is probably my best belt. And then I will switch this over once I do, like, patterns within patterns, kill Antros, do a couple rares. Maybe it might take 2 days since I'm, what, my 3K off? Exactly. I should be getting this week, I think. Might grab a contract or something. I think I'm going to take this belt. This is my best belt. Sweet. Very cool. 291 in bags now. And we got a 17 Grim Rail. Okay, so yeah, I do want to take a second to talk about what I got up to last week. Last week, I was able to get just barely into KSM on this guy. So that means I do have the mount, which is very cool. Do probably want to push up to 20s, though, and try to get the teleports and stuff. Would be pretty cool. This week, we're looking to do a 10 or a 15 Grim Rail at minimum. Time of 15, Iron Docks, and lower, I think, are mostly what we need. 2 of my partners that I run with need, like, lower and upper for KSM. And yeah, I'm probably trying to start pushing towards maybe more 18s, 17s this week. Let's take a look at what some of the pulls are going to be like. So it's going to be bolstering explosive this week. Don't ignore all of this. Just reset. Some of the pulls that I'm kind of more worried about, I was thinking about last night, are in things like Upper Karazhan. Set this as well. Places like in this room. So in this room, these Mana Gorged Worms were dropping Sanguine last week. And you'll notice, like, on a 15, they have 278,000 health, and these dudes have 800,000 health. And, like, a lot of people were double pulling or triple pulling and then single pulling or pulling the whole room, depending on how huge they were. If these are bolstering this, that's going to suck. That's going to really suck. If these bolster. Other than that, really, like, besides this room, it's like a lot of single pulls. You know, skip, probably. Like, a lot of the time, skip over to here. Maybe this room, you might have to watch it, but, like, these are all the same mob, so they all have the same health. Skip. So, like, this dungeon should be pretty easy. Something like Grim Rail. These shouldn't bolster because they didn't drop Sanguine. That should be fine. You know, a lot of these mobs have similar health totals, right? Around 200k. Oh, I see. Yeah, so like that should be fine. Iron Docks. A lot of these mobs have similar health totals, right? Around 600k. So yeah, I think the main pull that I was worried about was just the and maybe workshop. I don't remember. These don't drop Sanguine. They shouldn't bolster, but like who knows, you know? Anything could happen. Other than that, this should be a pretty easy week. So it should be a pretty good week to push keys. Explosives, make sure you pop your explosives. Make sure you try to cleave everything down evenly so you don't have bolster building up a super mob. But even if you do, with last or 2 seasons ago's nerf, it only lasts 20 seconds, which I mean, yeah, it's a kind of depends on how big the bolster is. It might be a little bit difficult, but should be fine. So that's gonna be it for me. I'm actually gonna be streaming later tonight and some more this week, running Mythic Plus with the group, and possibly even spinning the wheel to pick a random class/spec to get to pug my way into KSM on. So if you're interested in following that on stream, that'll probably be coming later this week. Might be putting out another guide for like what the chores look like for this season, because there's not a lot actually, and I find that interesting to discuss because it kind of feels nice. So that's going to be it for me today. You can catch me later, probably around 6 o'clock today on stream. Peace.